All right, guys, my name is Dr. Artie Del Real from Spine and Sports Center of Chicago here at Chicago Fit Performance today. And today we're going to learn about kettlebell training. We're going to discuss three main things. We're going to discuss number one, the most common mistakes people make and the reasons why they get injured. Number two, the biomechanics behind the movement and the correct loading strategies. Number three, we're going to learn the correct form and technique, okay? The three exercises we're going to learn is number one is the double arm kettlebell swing first. Second will be the Turkish Get Up. And the last will be the Goblet Squat, okay? Before I begin, I just want to talk about safety, okay? Before you start any training program, make sure you always speak with your doctor first, okay? I'll gladly answer any questions you have after the class, okay? But make sure your body is up for the task, okay? Listen to your body. If you want a good, sustaining, and continuing program, you have to make sure that your body is willing to cooperate and you're treating it well at the same time, okay? When we train right now, make sure you have enough room not to affect anybody else, okay? And choose your weight smart, be smart with it, learn the movement first, and then challenge your body second. We're going to have 30-minute workout after our workshop, so you'll have time to practice before we get to the workshop, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. Double arm kettlebell swing, okay? You okay?
I thought you might get started.
No. Give me about 10 minutes, and then you guys will have 10 minutes to practice on your own before we jump into things, okay? So double arm kettlebell swing. But there are 5 most common mistakes. The first common mistake is that we don't breathe. Either we hold our breath or biomechanically our rhythm is off when we breathe. When you exhale, you should be at full extension. We should be right here. So we should see a visible glute contraction and core contraction through our breath. So it should be like, and it should be that loud. You should force it, exhalation, so everything just flexes. I want everybody to take a moment, place your hands right here on your gut, cough for me. Do you feel that engagement of the core? So when you exhale, that expands, that contracts, right? So I'm down here, I come up, I'm exhaling at full extension, okay? Number two, the second most common mistake is that we roll our low back. We end up bending this, most evidently because we roll our shoulders forward. We drop our shoulders forward, all of a sudden this bends. Now, bending in the low back, you're designed to do that. You're designed to bend forward, but not when you're trying to absorb a kettlebell force. This is not biomechanically advantageous, and you will throw out your back with weight, right? But we're designed to bend forward, right? But when we increase the load or we make the activity a little bit harder to do, you got to be more smart about it, okay? The third most common mistake is that we give ourselves whiplash, okay? When we're looking straight ahead, I'm standing, I'm not looking up, right? I'm looking straight ahead, and my eyes are horizontal on the horizon. So when I come down into hip hinge, should I be like this? Because if I stand up, look how I'm at. And once you pick up speed in the kettlebell swing, you'll see many people this. They're just giving themselves whiplash. Imagine yourself in the car, boom, 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 cranking out your neck. What you want to do is keep a neutral spine, head and neck. So if I'm looking forward, right, my hips are looking forward. When my hips look down, my head looks down, and then I'm up. Just in this fashion, right? Now my entire head, neck, and spine are in a nice neutral position, okay? Fourth most common mistake is arm level, okay? Many people come up a little bit higher than they're supposed to. Basically, they're engaging too much shoulders, they're shrugging their head forward, or they're leaning back as they're doing this, okay? The kettlebell should have a brief moment where it floats, and it floats right there. The kettlebell becomes an extension of your arms. I shouldn't see the kettlebell in this position, and I shouldn't see it in this position, okay? If you're using and absorbing, transferring that force properly, you should see it just extend fully out. Just like it's like an added part of your arm, okay? And that little transitioning period right before it starts decelerating and coming down, it actually is super light because it's floating in the air, okay? If I come higher up and I don't have proper shoulder mobility or I don't open up my chest, I'm going to start hyperextending the low back, okay? There are 2 types of swing. Today we're going to do the Russian kettlebell swing, not the American, which comes all the way up, okay? So we're going to focus on the Russian kettlebell swing. The last mistake most people make is that they squat while they do the kettlebell swing. The kettlebell swing is not an up and down movement. It is a forward and backwards movement, okay? So what I mean by that is I should see no knee bending. This is not part of the movement. When we kettlebell swing, we're here, my knees don't rock forward because my hips are just coming back. Coming back. Notice how my knees are not moving as I do this. Back, it's like I'm chopped. right? I'm not doing this, not doing this, not doing this. When we do this, we don't absorb this properly. Most of our load gets absorbed here. What do we hurt? Our back, okay? So now we're gonna start talking about the best loading for this. When you do the kettlebell swing, you'd always want to start off with the weight slightly forward because you want to use that momentum to carry you through, okay? The double arm kettlebell swing is a thrusting movement. So your butt and your core should feel so tired by the time you're done, not your arms, not your back, okay? So we want to start with our feet slightly wider than our hips. We want to focus on loading the foot in a tripod position. What that means is this is your heel, these are your toes. You have 3 points of stability. Your heel, underneath the big toe, and underneath that pinky toe. Those 3 points provide you stability, okay? So when we're loading, we're standing, we should feel our entire foot flat onto the ground, distributed onto those 3 points, okay? Secondly, again, meter stick rule. I always love this rule because it reminds you, it's very simple, that I need to keep my head, my neck, and my back in neutral position. If I do this, I know that I'm not having that meter stick rule. Meter stick rule is this. There are 3 points touching my back, my head, and my butt. Here, here, and here. If I'm standing, all 3 points are touching my back, my head, and my butt. If I do this, I break that meter stick rule, right? So that's the easiest way to remember to keep a little bit better positioning. Secondly, when you grasp it, you're here. Like I said, don't start it here because now you gotta use your back to get it up, right? When you're here, you're gonna use that momentum and you're going to thrust it forward. So all you're doing is just transferring the momentum. You're not creating it because it's already started for you. Does that make sense? So we're here. I'm going to bring it back and I'm up. And I'm up. And I'm up. Notice as I'm in this position, I'm just going to hold it here. I'm looking down. The handles, you'd want the handles to pass above your knee. If you know they're going down, that's what you're doing. Squatting. Right? Well, this is not good because all I want is boom. And the entire time, I'm squeezing my butt right at the top. I'm at full extension, full arm length, and it is coming straight out. I'm not here. I'm not here, okay? I'm not arching further as I do this. I'm just standing nice and tall. I'm here, I'm there. Here, and I'm there. Okay? I want everybody to stand up for a second. I want everybody to get 15 swings, just practicing what we discussed right now. And then we're going to break up, and I'm going to go around, and Costa and I are going to go around, and we're going to correct individually, one-on-one. Okay. Excuse me. Okay. So each of you guys grab a kettlebell with what we discussed. Just implement for 15 swings what you've learned.
All right, congrats. Let's do 15 swings so everybody can see. Just try to implement everything that's part of the set.
Sure.
For engagements,
so the one thing that I'm not hearing is breathing. Somebody exaggerate it for me. Yes, at the top. Like, you guys are working too hard right now. Like, this should feel so easy because it is just thrusting it forward, thrusting it forward, thrusting it forward. We're too quiet. When you've done your 15, go ahead and sit back down for a second. Some of you look like you were using your upper body way too much because it looks like you were just lifting the kettlebell. It's like the thrust was so slow or not as strong as it needed to be, so we were here, and the rest we had to like come up that way, okay? See or hear, more importantly, anybody really go in a rhythm. So I know biomechanically your breathing is not to par, okay? Again, our breathing, when we generate pressure in the torso, it stabilizes the low back. When you don't breathe, guess what happens? Your form suffers, and 2, you tire out faster, okay? So again, I'm going to go ahead and do it from this angle, then I'll do it from the other angle. It should be a rhythm. It should be like a dance. Don't even think about it, just a dance. Dancing is just back and forth. They say it's all in the hips. Hips don't lie. You're absolutely right. Okay? So again, I'm here. I'm going to demo about 15 swings for you guys. So, how did that look in comparison to what you did? Did it look like I was lifting the kettlebell with my arms, or did it look like it was just coming up? You guys can talk. No? It's coming up, right? Like all I'm doing is like I'm just transferring it back and forth like this. Back and forth, back and forth. It looks explosive, and then when it's up here, it's floating because it's decelerating. And then that brings you down, and then you, again, thrust forward to bring it back up. And it brings you down, and it thrusts forward to bring it back up. Again, remember your head position. You're here, you're standing looking straight forward. Imagine somebody just chopping your hips. Boom. I'm like that. Now I'm looking straight down. Now imagine somebody spanking your bottom. Back up. Right? Looks like a midnight thrust. We're all familiar with it, right? So we're here, back, okay? It's all in the hips. That's what we want. I saw a couple people bending the knees again, which made it more emphasis to lift with your hands, okay? That's something that we don't want to do, okay? We're going to break. We're going to have 10 minutes now, okay? We're going to walk around. I want one person to be a coach and the other person to be exercising. I want 40 swings from one partner while the other partner is watching them and coaching them and cueing them on how to do it correctly, and then we'll swap. Okay, we'll have 10 minutes to do that. Sound good? Fantastic exercise for the core. It is an even more important exercise for shoulder stability. Nothing stabilizes this upper quarter, the neck, the head, the shoulder girdle, the arm, the elbow, and the wrist more than the Turkish Get Up, because you're holding this weight while moving the rest of the body. So this weight never moves. It is staying still, and you're learning how to move everything else in respect to that. Okay? So it's very, very good. So how are we going to start? We're going to start by laying on our side. I'm going to do the right side first. I'm going to get in this like field position, okay? I'm going to grab it with my right hand just like this. My left hand is right on top. I am here. I'm going to turn my head, and that's going to guide the whole movement. So I'm looking down. I turn left. I come up. Now I'm here. Your wrist is in a neutral position, okay? Now that I've planted my right foot in this position, do we see how it's made contact to the ground? It will never move until I roll back to my side, okay? So I'm going to review that one more time. I'm here, I'm looking, I turn, I reach out, my wrist is in neutral position, this arm is reaching out, getting ready to support me for my next movement, okay?
Dr. Artie, can you do that the side too?
Yeah. Oh. No, you're okay. Hey everybody. Okay, so this side, left side, same thing. I'm here, left side's gripping underneath, right side's on top. I'm looking down, I'm in this fetal position. The head's gonna guide the movement. I'm looking here, I turn the head, I roll. Now, my arm reached out, my right arm. This wrist is in neutral position, and my foot is planted to the ground, and it will never move from that position. So I'm gonna do it right now in one whole sweep. So I'm here, roll, boom. Again, I'm planted, the arm's planted, that foot's planted, my wrist is in a neutral position, okay? The next step from here is that we come, we roll, boom. I use my left leg to push me up, and I do not shrug this right shoulder. The most common mistakes, there are 4 common mistakes that people do when they do a Turkish Get Up. Number 1 is that they shrug this shoulder, okay? So without the weight, I'm here, I roll up, I'm in this position, they end up, they do this. They shrug. Do you see how this shoulder is so shrugged? I'm very weak here and I'm just damaging my shoulder joint, okay? When I am here, I come up, I push off my left leg, and I'm using muscle to push. It's like a half mini plank. Like this is all engaged right now as I'm doing this, right? I'm here, I push my hand up, I bring it closer to my body, I sweep my leg underneath it, I'm still looking up at the kettlebell, I stand here, I stand up. Notice how my left leg did not move that entire time. Then I'm going to come back down. Here, I look up again, post that hand, sweep that leg, challenge that arm, coming down. I am serious. This weight, as you get better with this, you'll be able to use heavier weight, but you should be able to use a weight. You should be able to use a weight that maybe you'll be able to do like an overhead press with, okay? Something like that weight, okay? So I'm going to go through the movement one time then I'm going to go more about talking about the common mistakes as I do it, okay? So I discussed the common mistake number 1 is that they shrug their shoulder, okay? The next common mistake is that they don't keep this arm overhead. You'll see that some people will have the arm like right here, okay? The weight needs to be perpendicular to the floor. How much muscle in my shoulder am I using? A lot to keep this here. But if I heave it here, less. Why? Because it's all in the shoulder girdle. I'm here, it's all in the deltoid. Does that make sense? So I'm going to run through the movement one time, just so we can see it live. Somebody have a question? No?
So you would want to give it something that's light.
Lighter. Once you get better, you'll be surprised how easy this is. It's all about quality. It's all about form. Same thing with the swing, right? You're like, some people are like, oh, this is too heavy, but once you actually learn that it's a rhythm, right, it becomes so much easier. You do less to achieve more, really. So I'm here. I roll there. And I'm up. I'm back down, looking up again. Plant the hand, sweep the leg, reach out, elbow, back, and I roll. So again. And I'm up. So notice how my right leg, again, never moved. Once you make that zone of support, you keep it there, because that's what stabilizes you. Everything else will move. This weight has been perpendicular the entire time, okay? The biggest thing, rule number 2, like I said, when you get to this, second common mistake, when you get to here, like the weight is perpendicular, which is fantastic. Keep it there. Right here is when people make a mistake. They do that. I want this, straight up. I push up with the hand. I'm posting with this hand. I'm supporting my body. My right leg, left hand. I come up. This little leg is going to come underneath. Notice how I'm sticking my butt out, right? So I'm moving through the hip. My back is not rolling. That's the third most common mistake. When people do this, they roll and bend that low back. I want your butt to stick out. As my butt sticks out, I keep my spine neutral. I'm here, still looking at that weight. I'm up, still looking at that weight. When I'm in this lunge position, I look straight forward and I come straight up. Then I reverse my steps. Still looking straight forward, reverse lunge, look up, turn that leg, post that hand, sweep that leg, sit down, lean back, and then roll. So, everybody thinks that's super hard? Absolutely. So I'll break it up. I'll break it up in 6 steps.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm sorry. Yeah, we'll have time to practice without it. So, give me a second. Guys, we'll practice this first without the weight, but let me run through it by breaking it up in 6 steps. Okay? 6 steps coming up. It's the same 6 steps going down. You just do it in reverse. Step number 1, we roll. So again, I'm gripping the right hand underneath, top hand right here. I'm looking down. This is going to be step number 1 is me rolling. Boom. When I finish my rolling position, my hand should be in neutral position, basically meaning my thumb is pointing right to my head, my pinky is going straight down, okay? That is neutral position. And my left hand, it'll be flat on the ground. My right leg will already be flat on the table. So rolling, I'm here. I know I completed my rolling stage if those 3 things are in order. Foot, hand, neutral hand. Okay? Okay, so rolling. And then step number 2 is transitioning into an oblique sit. So now I will use my right leg to push me off and roll my weight to my elbow and then to my left hand. So I'm using my right leg To push up, I'm onto my elbow, and I press with my hand, and I bring my hand close to my body. Right? Now let's go back down. Everybody back down now. Reverse the same steps you just did. Good. Again, we have a rolling and then transition to oblique sit. So I roll, my left hand is down, my right foot is planted, my right arm is in neutral position. Let's transition. I press off my right foot, roll onto my left elbow, press from my left hand up, bring my left hand closer to my body. Yes, so now we've transitioned, okay? Next step is a low sweep of the leg. I'm going to press my right foot into the ground, my left hand into the ground, elevate my body to sweep the left leg. So I'm here, pressing, sweep the left leg back. Now I'm in a semi-oriented lunge position. My right butt cheek is sticking out, and I'm just going to straighten up. That was the third step, right? This whole time I've been looking up at the kettlebell. Now I'm going to change that and look straight forward. Okay? Fourth step, always look straight forward. Fifth step, I stand straight up. 6, we hold. We make sure that this is a direct and motionless position. So like I'm steady, I'm in control. Great, now I can come down. Basically the 6th step is just to make sure that everything is in order. Okay? Now I reverse it. I reverse lunge, step back. I stick that right butt out, post that left hand, I'm looking up, okay? Turn that left leg in. So everybody stand back up again. Come into that lunge position. Turn that left, because I'm looking at, I'm sorry, I don't know your name. Ron. That left leg is going to turn in just like this. As I turn that left leg in, now my butt sticks out. Yes, and then I reach for the ground. I'm still looking at my kettlebell. I sweep that leg back, and now I go to the elbow, come onto the back, and roll. Okay? All right, guys, one more time. Let's see everybody do it together without the step-by-step instruction, okay? I'm gonna say them, but I'm not gonna hold and pause after each step, okay?
All right.
Here we go. We're in a side lying position. We roll, transition, elbow up, sweep the leg, looking up, looking straight forward. We lunge up, we pause, make sure everything's secure. Reverse the steps. Reverse lunge down, turn that left leg, pop that front, left hand down, sweep the leg, elbow, roll.
We cannot wait to get out of this position.
Number 3, our neck ends up being cranked again. So we're giving ourselves what? Whiplash again, right? The last mistake is that our knees, they never stay over the toes. Many people, either they crash the knees when they squat, they go too much forward, and I sometimes see this, but very rarely, to where they bow their knees out too much, okay? What you want to do is develop, a stance outside of your hip width, all right? You can grab the kettlebell 2 different ways. We're here. You can grab it by the handles, just like this, okay? Or I prefer grabbing it just like this, underneath, just like a goblet. Now the second thing that you want to remember is your biceps, your triceps, you anchor them right to your ribs. They shouldn't be touching your chest, okay? It's like I had a towel in my armpit and I'm not letting anybody steal it. I'm here. That relaxes your trap, okay? That engages the musculature of the torso to stabilize and keep you neutral. So when I'm here holding it, right, I squat, 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 and I'm back up, okay? So you will see how much muscle you use in the torso just by holding this, okay? So, again, tripod position, okay? Number 2, breathing. We want a good breath to rep ratio, meaning before I move, I inhale. Why? Because I need to generate sufficient pressure to stabilize my low back, right? If I don't stabilize my low back, what happens? I throw it out. I'm here, I inhale before I move, butt goes back first, knees stay over the toes, I'm nice and deep, I stand back up. I'm down, inhale before I move, back up, exhale on the way up. Again, I'm imagining I have a towel between my armpits. I'm not letting anybody steal it. What you will see sometimes, and I'll see right now is some of you may do this. Notice the separation between my arms and rib cage, right? I will see this even after I just explained this, okay? It's a habit that we got to get out of, because if I do this, how much stress am I putting in my low back? It's like me trying to do this, right? That's tough. That's why we want to keep the weight close to us. Like, train what you're intending to train, your butt, okay? So again, we're here, feet hip width, tripod position, heel, big toe, pinky, right? Stability comes from the tripod, but your power comes from the heel, okay? So again, I'm here, butt is going back, boom, and I'm up. How low do you go? You guys have that question? Yeah. How low do I go? It depends. You will see some people be able to squat very, very deep and maintain good form. You'll see some people not being able to squat deep at all and maintain good form. This is a little trick as to how deep you can squat. We're in our squat stance. I grab my toes. I bring my butt down. I put my arms overhead. My weight's on my heels now. I'm balanced. My knees are over. This is as low as I can go and maintain good form. If I go lower, what happens to my low back? You got it. Come up a little bit. It's perfect again. It's a little tool to practice how deep can I go. But the thing is, you're going to have to train your body to mimic that depth every time, because you don't always have that chance, that little handicap, right? But in order to practice it, we grab our toes, we bring our butt down as low as we can, we bring our hands up and straight forward. Again, I'm looking straight forward and back up. Can I do that without assistance? Here, perfect. Here, perfect. Okay? Everybody stand up for a second. Everybody get a little bit of a outside hip width for your feet stance. Go ahead and grab your toes. Bring your butt down. Reach your arms forward and up. Your weight should be on your heels. You should be able to hold this position all day. I should not be able to walk around and knock you over. How many of you feel strong in this position right now?
Like a minute.
60 seconds is still good. Go ahead and stand up. So holding a squat for 60 seconds, I'm sure you guys all met Sally, right? Yeah. Squat, yeah, yes, okay. So I want you guys all to do that one more time. I want you to grab your toes, bring your butt down, reach your hands forward and up. Good. Your weight, again, should be on your heels. Power comes from your heels, and you're going to be on that tripod, the big toe and the pinky. And when you press up, nice and powerful. Do we see that? So you are in control of the movement. You're not letting the momentum carry you through the movement, like I see sometimes where we're here, I have no control over the movement. But if I'm here, you say freeze, I can freeze at any point and hold it. Does that make sense? That's how I know you're in control of the squat. That's how I know you have good balance. Now I add weight, you should be able to withstand that as well. Okay? Do it without the assistance now. Mimic the same depth, mimic the same positioning of the low back, the neck, and how you're feeling when you breathe. Inhale before you move. And pause for a split second at the bottom.
Can you inhale as you're going down?
I don't like that, but if you're, put it this way, elite athletes can do that and get away, okay? But depending on where you're at on the athletic spectrum, it is always safer to generate more pressure for stabilizing the torso before you move. Athletes can get away because they've trained that to be subconscious, so they don't got to think about it. Right now, many of us have to step by step focus on things.
So when you're going down, you're doing neither inhaling nor exhaling?
Ideally, no. Okay? But it should be a rhythm, right? It should be like. So I never stop breathing throughout that movement. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like I'm not holding my breath. I just have enough air to carry me through that movement. Does that make sense?
This is like
Okay. Imagine having the kettlebell now. Imagine having the kettlebell right here, guys. And I want you to imagine having the towels right there. Because if I'm doing this, again, am I in a good position or no? Not in a good position. If I'm out here, am I in a good position or no? No. What do we want? Right there, tucking it right there. Now, how much do you feel engaged in the shoulder girdles and the chest? Boom, just like this. Go ahead and squat. Back up. Now, loading the knees. I'm going to pick on Patrick. Go ahead and squat for a second. So, notice, where are his knees? Above his toes, right? And they're facing out, right? So one thing Patrick should do first thing is stick that butt out. Move the butt, the knees will follow, okay? So again, Patrick, I'm going to just pick on you for a second, sorry. Have your butt aim at my knee. Boom. Now notice where his knees are at. They're not forward anymore, right? So what did Patrick first do? He was like, I'm going to squat, I'm going to move my knees. No, I'm going to squat, I'm going to move my hips. That's what we think, okay? Hips to tell the knees what to do. Okay? So I want one partner to get a kettlebell. The other partner will be cueing. I want that partner to do 20 squats, and then we'll swap. So, okay? When you move the hips, the knees will just bend on their own, right? But they won't move forward. You can bend your knees, just don't bend the knees forward, right? So like watch this. I want you to do you see how my knees bend a little bit? Knees bend a little bit, right? Yes. See how they bend? Yeah. I'm not doing this. This is